and welcome to Amethyst Star Crafting. My name is Jane Ormark and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And today we are going to be making some flowers. We're going to be making a poinsettia, and I'm going to tell you the things that you need. So you need the lovely flower punch. All of the details will be below in the description box. So don't worry about too much about all the different names. And we're going to be using the Floral Essence. Now, this has the lovely little flower image on there. And you stamp that out and then use the punch to punch it out. So we need those. We need some embellishments, and I'm using these really pretty I can't remember what the name of them is, but the little sparkly sort of centerpieces, and again I will put the link below. And then we need some scraps. The scraps we're going to use are literally a yellow of any sort that you've got in your scrap box. Some green, I've used old olive, and I've used cherry cobbler, and this one I think is crushed curry, but you can use daffodil delight, you can use anything you want, but basically your little pieces of scrap. What we're making is one of these, and I'm going to actually bring in the sort of the card piece. We're going to make this really sweet little poinsettia, and very simple to make, and I think it looks absolutely lovely. Put it on the, you take those pieces off. I was making a card and I wanted something to go onto the card, and then I thought, oh, you know what, actually this would work on the top of little boxes, it would work on tags, it would work on packaging. So I thought I'd come on and show you how I made it, because it is very simple, but I think it looks very impressive and very pretty. So this is what we're making. That's the card, which I will be showing you how to make on another video. And we need two ink colours as well. So we need cherry cobbler and we need old olive. So first of all, with the this lovely flower one, we'll just pop it onto a block. See, I've used mine a lot. They float about all over the box sometimes. So if you put it so that it faces upwards like that, then you can use, so you can see I have punched some of them out to save a bit of time, but this one was done in old olive, but I've done one in that direction, one in that direction, and one in that direction, because what it means is that when I get my punch out, I can punch them out very simply and easily by just facing up in the right direction, and then I can just punch those out. And for each flower we need 2 of the cherry cobbler and 2 of the old olive. Now you can use any reds or any greens that you've got. So I'm just going to punch out 2 of those. But you can see just all of your pieces of scrap are absolutely perfect for this. This piece of cherry cobbler, you can see I've used virtually every little space of it. So let's get started and see what we can make to make this lovely little flower. So the first thing we need to do is to find something. I've just got it's a paintbrush actually. But I find those quite easily. And so we're going to take 2 of these, and I literally just bend them a little bit, because it just moves the fibres a little bit so that you can get the shape that you want. So we're going to do 2 of these, because we're going to make 1 flower, so you need 2. And what I do is I tend to do quite a few at a time in stamping and punching them out, then put them in a little envelope and keep them for when I'm ready to make a flower. And then we're going to do 2 of the green ones. So as I say, I'm just bending it. You can use any sort of rounded tool that you've got This just happened to be on hand, and you don't want it to be too small that it sort of makes marks in it. Now, the easiest way I've found is to take a scoring tool. Now, I've got the little addition piece on the Take Your Pick tool. You can use your scoreboard if you want, but I find it easier to just draw a line just down the centre. So I'm eyeballing it and I'm just sort of scoring down the centre of each one. This will help when you fold it for it to crease nicely down the centre. So I'm going to do all three. So literally just from the centre, just do a score line out. Say if you want it absolutely accurate, you can use your scoreboard. You can use something softer underneath, but I'm not overly worried with this. We want two of these ones. Have I only done one? I think I did. So we'll have that one on there, that one on there, and it's just a little line that will just help when you bend it. I need to do another one. I haven't curled this one, but I can do that afterwards. So we're just going to take that just down the centre, or roughly the centre, like that. And I can put that little piece of tool up on there. As I say, it's the piece that goes in on the Take Your Pick tool, because you've got different parts that you can take in and out. And I use my the pointy side more than I use the score side, so I just keep it on one side. Okay, so now we're going to take the flower part, and where we've got this score mark, it makes it quite easier to bend it and to make it into just a point like that. So just work your way round on each one, just bending it through, making a little point. So that's one. And as I say, by doing that little score in there, it means that you it's easier to bend that cardstock, because fibres of cardstock, it can make it look just sort of a little bit overly crinkly if you don't get a sort of an accurate line down the centre, and it only takes a few seconds. So that's the second one. Then we're going to do the leaf, and by bending it first, you've just bent those fibres a little bit, which makes it easier to manipulate. So this one, before I'm going to do it, I'm just literally just going to curl it round, because as I say, it's just broken down those fibres a little bit, and it makes bending them. Our cardstock is so good that if you don't sort of do those little bits, it's quite difficult to bend the cardstock and get it into a nice shape. Okay, so that's those four pieces done, ready to put together. Now, the little piece in the centre of this flower, I wanted it to look as realistic as possible, and so what I used was the Butterfly Beauty Thinlit dies, and there is this little die in there which has got little tiny points on it. It's like a little leaf, but it works perfectly. Let's take it out of, I've cut one out, so we'll take it out of the die very carefully so that it releases nicely. Because I wanted the little centre pieces, and I wanted something that would work. Now, if you don't have that, you can use the actual centre that is with this stamp set, which is, I need to get that one out again. You can use, there is a little centre here, and you can just cut that out and use that if you want. However, I wanted something that was really pointed, so if you happen to have this die, it works perfectly. And then with the scissors, so with our paper snips, we're just going to cut it down. So I want this one is the first nice little 3-point, like that. And then I'm going to cut each one down just by 2, because we don't need too many in there. So if you can cut it down as near to the next sort of point part, that works quite well. I'm going to cut this one just down into a 2. I use just one for oops, just doesn't want to cut, that's it. So I just used one of these and then just sort of trimmed it down as I wanted it. So you're just taking little snip pieces out. I could take that one down to there. And then we'll have this one as the bottom piece. I'm just going to take a little bit off the end because you don't want them too long. Okay, so we've now sort of snipped that down, and these will then make the centerpiece when we get round to it. So I'll just put those to one side. Those will make my other flowers when I get round to it. So we can start sort of putting them together. Now, if we take these two, and I'm just using, as I always use, my wet glue. My wet glue is my preferred, my favourite. I use it for everything. Yes, it takes a second or two to dry, but it allows that manipulation. So we're going to put one piece inside the other. If you sort of put it up at that angle and then pop this piece in, you can just get it quite nicely so it goes across. And then, as I say, just pick it up. And I'm just going to hold it for a few seconds until that piece has dried. And then I'm going to do exactly the same with the two bottom pieces. So just a little bit of wet glue in the centre, like that. And then we're going to put this one in across. Whoops. It's catching on that little bottom piece. So just put that one in there. And again, you can use glue dots, you can use dimensionals if you want some extra height, which I don't particularly. So we're just going to put that in, and as I say, just hold it. Wet glue, once it's gone off, is exceptionally strong, so it's not going to go anywhere, and that's why I like it so much. Okay, now we can then take both of these pieces and put them together. Now, you want to sort of line them up so that the leaves show. So when you've got the position that you want, put some more of your glue in the centre. And then line this one up. And the nice thing is that you can sort of position it where you want first of all, before you commit yourself down. So you can sort of wiggle it around a little bit so it's exactly where you want it. And then just press it down in the centre and just hold it down for a few seconds until it goes off. But I think it makes such a pretty little embellishment. I thought I'd put some on the bottom of some tags, and again, as say on the top of cards, and on presents as well. You know, little gift boxes and things at the top. I think they're really lovely, and you could put several of them together if you wanted to. Right, that's gone off now nicely. So we now have those pieces. Now we're going to work on this little centerpiece. So the easiest thing I've found is we're going to put a blob of glue right the way round in the center. Once the glue dries, it does go clear. And then I am going to take my pokey tool, because it's actually easier to put them in with the pokey tool. So we're just going to take one at a time, and it's a matter of just sort of layering them up. They don't have to be completely precise, but if you just put one down and then literally just with your pokey tool turn it round and then just push it down into the glue. And then turn it around to the opposite side take another piece and again just put it down. It is a little bit fiddly, so it's me putting it down upside down. So you can do this bit with your finger. In fact, I might actually do it with the little point of this one, because that's a little bit smaller and it might be easier to work with. I think I used that last time. So the second one I'm just doing the opposite way, and again with just, yes, that works better. So use the a scoring tool, because the little ball makes it slightly easier. And then we're going to get the next one, if we can pick it up, and we're going to put that in on the other side. So just sort of move it round. As near as you can, and just press that one down. There's several of these you can sort of work round. That's why I tend to do it sort of in quarters first of all, and then bring it down into the little spaces. So you're sort of filling it up as best you can. Doesn't matter so much about the centre, because we're going to cover that with the little little gem. So just tuck that one in there. And because it's wet glue, you can sort of position it around to get it where you want it before you sort of commit yourself. There we are, there's that one in there. And we've just got this little one. I think I'm going to put that one just across there, like that. Okay, so you've now got those little pieces sticking out in the centre, which is quite nice. And then if we take these lovely little faceted gems, and you need one of the, I would use one of the smaller ones, because you don't want to detract it too much from the actual, you know, yellow stamens that we've created. So I'm going to take that, and then I can position it where I want, right in the centre. Just press that down like that. There we go. So we have now two beautiful little poinsettias, which as I say, I think will look lovely on a card or on anything else. As I say, I'm in the process of making this card here using the Very Versailles, which I thought would make a very pretty, elegant Christmas card. And as I say, I thought that these would look quite nice just in the centre. So I wouldn't put two on, but you can, if you wanted to, you know, do a series of sort of 3 of them bunched together. And how pretty do they look? So hope you enjoyed that one, and look forward to seeing you again. Bye bye.